Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Well, dodgy, unorthodox simulation pilot here, and today I'm taking an EasyJet 737 from Palm Beach down to Miami International. What, you're saying? EasyJet don't fly around these parts? Well, I don't think they do. I think they're based in the UK, in Europe, around that area. But this is my simulation. It is my world. I can do any damn thing I want, okay? And today I'm flying an EasyJet 737 down to Miami International. Now I've asked for the baggage. We've got all our passengers on board, but a couple of things don't seem to be working. The baggage doesn't seem to want to load up. The boys are not too keen to work today. I don't know whether they're feeling lazy or what, but they don't seem to want to load up all the luggage. But I'll give them a bit of time to think about it anyway. Let's get into the cockpit. Now you'll see I've got my camera set on my new flight yoke here. And I'll show you the keys. I'll show you what I've got assigned. It's taken me a few days just to trial and error and test out where I'm going to put everything as far as my assignments. I got my big bulky snowball microphone on the top here, which I don't really like. I'll try and replace that in the next few days to some little one I can clip onto my lapel or something like that. I think that'll be better than having that big bulky ball sitting on top of my flight yoke here. But yeah, I know this is not an expensive one. It's an entry level one. It's not state of the art by any means, but it certainly is a lot better than my doggy old joystick that I've had for about 15 years. It just feels great after that. Now these are my throttles and levers here. I put some yellow tape on this one so you could see it because it was black and you wouldn't see it otherwise. So I'll show you where I've got my assignments set. I'll come down here so you can see my throttle. Now this is my throttle, and of course when I go up it is in unison completely with the throttle in the plane. That is brilliant. My doggy old joystick was never in sync. So that was a real pain in the neck. Now if I want to engage reverse thrust, I just click it down like that, and then engage thrust is reverse thrust is engaged. So I bring it back down here and I click it down once, and then it is back to the normal throttle setting. This one I've got set to flaps. If I click down, it's flaps 1, flaps 2, flaps 3, and so on and so on. When I push it up to the top, it'll set my flaps back to 0. This one is my speed brake. I click it down once, and you can see it turns on the speed brakes. Can't quite see it there. And I click it again, and my speed brakes will come off. Now underneath here, there are some buttons as well. I'm going to put some stickers on them because you can't really see them. It's all black. Even sitting here I can't see them, which makes it a bit tricky. Now the one on the left, which is underneath the throttle, that is the park brake. You'll see my park brake moving on the screen there. That's my park brake. Now the second one is the gear up, gear down lever. And the third one, right across the end, underneath the red lever, that is disengage the auto throttle. It's going to take me a few flights actually to get actually used to it and going to the right switches and buttons automatically. Got a bit of muscle memory there to work on. After a while it'll become natural, but at the moment I've just sort of got to think about where all my assignments are. Now this little switch here that you can swivel, this is my rudder. The other little switch you can swivel up and down, that is my trim. And this red button sets my view back to the cockpit. On this side, the little trigger button at the back brings me to my outside view. And then this run will set me back to my cockpit. This little one that swivels up and down here is my brake, wheel brake. As you can see, I'm holding it down. My foot pedals are moving because I'm holding down the wheel brake. And the little toggle hat here is my views. I can look over to the left, look over to the right, and back to the center again. So I'm going to try out these. I may adjust it or change it again, I don't know. But for the moment, I think this sort of suits me quite nicely. Okay, so let's get our flight underway for today. Right, so I'm just going to go over a few things. I'm going to set that I'm okay for taxi and departure. Going to set my flaps to 3. I'm going to bring my trim down, set my trim for departure. I might just take this camera off for a little bit. There we go. Now I've also my flight plan is already in the FMC, as you can see here. Got all my waypoints in there, so that's done. Don't have to spend a heck of a lot of time staring at that little box there. So we'll come up here and we will turn on our taxi lights, turn off our beacon light, logo lights can go on, and our no smoking and seatbelt lights can go on there as well. And I think we can go ahead now and get clearance for departure and pushback.
Palm Beach ground, Jet and Juliet India Alpha 100, ready to copy IFR clearance to Miami.
Jet and Juliet India Alpha 100 is cleared to Miami Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 28 right climb and maintain 9,000 feet. Departure frequency is 125.2 squawk 3573.
Okay, maintain 9,000 feet on departure, so I've set that to 9,000.
Jet and Juliet India Alpha 100 cleared to Miami Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 28 right climb and maintain 9,000 feet. Departure on 125.2 squawk 3573.
Jet and Juliet India Alpha 100 readback is correct. Contact ground on 121.9er when ready to taxi. Good day.
Okay, let's contact ground and get clearance for
Palm
taxi.
Beach ground, Jet and Juliet India Alpha 100 with Charlie ready to taxi IFR.
Jet and Juliet India Alpha 100 taxi to and hold short of runway 28 right using taxiway. Contact tower on 119.11 ready.
Okay, we are ready for taxi.
Taxiing hold short runway 28 right via taxiway Jet and Juliet India Alpha 100.
So we can go ahead and ask for pushback.
Palm Beach ground, Jet and Juliet India Alpha 100 requesting pushback.
Jet and Juliet India Alpha 100 pushback request accepted.
And we'll get pushback and steer to the left.
Palm Beach ground, Jet and Juliet India Alpha 100 requesting pushback tug to steer the aircraft to the left.
Jet and Juliet India Alpha 100, your request has been transmitted to the operator.
Park brake is off. I've got to say the 737 looks very nice, painted in the EasyJet livery. Quite a nice livery. First time I've flown a plane in this livery, so I really just wanted to have a look at it. I think that's far enough for our pushback there. Could have gone a little bit further. Now we can set our throttle properly this time. In the past I've had a heck of a lot of trouble setting my throttle to a particular percentage, but I'm going to put my brakes, auto brakes, onto RTO, rejected takeoff. Now I'm going to set my throttle here to 35. This is the problem I have with the joystick. I just could not set it to a set amount. It was just too, it was jumping all over the place. It took me ages to play around with it. There we are. I've set it at 36 for taxi. We'll leave it there. If we're going too fast, we'll just dab the brakes a little bit. And we're already moving, so I will get this underway, and we'll head over towards the active runway. Now we've got a little spinner over here. See the little plane spinning around? That is incredibly entertaining. I feel for the pilot. He must be getting unbelievably dizzy. Look at that. That is hilarious. You see that every so often. Look at that. Woohoo! What's for your next trick, mate? Okay, going a bit fast. Let's dab the brakes a little bit. We'll bring it around here. Maybe bring the throttle down a bit. Now we're actually moving. You okay, mate? You need a hand? Just taking your plane for a little spin? Yeah, let's go out for a spin. Right. Let's go. Now, I actually never have done a flight from A to B in this plane before to check out this new flight yoke and throttle quadrant. I have played around with a bit, experimenting, just so that I can get my assignments right. But to do an official full flight from A to B and try and land, well, this is it. This will be the first time, so fingers crossed, eh? Bring the throttle up a little bit. I'm really loving this throttle. It's very sensitive and it moves exactly in unison with the throttle in the plane. So easy to control now after that doggy old joystick that I had. Really enjoying that. I know there's a lot better ones than this out there. Some very, very high-tech joysticks. I mean, flight yokes. Some incredible, highly high-tech systems out there, but I don't have a bottomless budget, so I need to watch what I spend. But this one seems to do the job okay for now. If it's anything like my doggy old joystick, it'll probably last for quite a few years.
The captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign if you haven't already done so. We request that you store your luggage and take your seats so we can have an on-time departure. For those passengers seated in a designated exit row, you may be called upon to open that exit in the event of an emergency. Please refer to the safety briefing card of the exit row information card located in the seat back pocket to ensure you meet the exit row criteria and understand the information. After carefully reviewing this card, if you believe you could be injured, do not wish to or cannot perform the functions listed, please notify a flight attendant. At this time, we also request that you store your electronic devices until we are above 10,000 feet. I will notify you when it is safe to bring these items out for use. If there's any question as to what device you can use on board today, please refer to the Welcome Aboard section of your My Magazine. Thank you for your attention. Forward boarding door has been...
Okay, so we have stopped a little bit past the whole short line there, but that'll be fine. I tried to do the steering with the rudder. I've got the rudder assigned to this little switch here that swivels from side to side, but it's not easy. I think rudder pedals will be brilliant, but I didn't see any of those there, and I'm not sure I have the budget for that at the moment. But I'm not sure about this assignment. Not that easy to control my steering on the ground with this little switch here. I might have to think of another assignment, another way around that. Anyway, we can go ahead and get clearance for departure now.
Palm Beach Tower Jet in Juliet, Take off runway 28 right jet in Juliet, India, Alpha 100.
Okay, we have clearance for takeoff. We can head out onto the runway. Yeah, I might have to use the flight yoke to do the ground steering at the moment until I sort out that other problem with my rudders. Rudder steering just doesn't seem to work at the moment with this little switch up here. Any suggestions in the comments are more than welcome, guys. Right, we are all configured for takeoff. I can see it in my display here. So I think we can probably do a rolling start today. I love doing rolling starts. Let's just get in the middle here. Okay, let's take her up. Up we come. Try and keep my climb out at about 15 degrees.
Palm Beach departure on 125.2.
Flaps up. Adjust my trim a little bit. I like to try and climb out around 15 degrees.
Juliet, India, Alpha 100, acknowledge last transmission.
Acknowledge.
125.2 for jet in Juliet, India, Alpha 100.
Right, so it's so long to Palm Beach. Miami International, here we come. Right, let's go over to my autopilot now. We'll turn on the flight director, auto throttle, speed mode, LNAV, altitude hold, and autopilot on. Now we're going to cruise at 9,000 feet.
Bank angle, bank angle. Bank angle, bank angle.
So I want to set my vertical speed
Bank angle, bank angle.
about 1.6 for now. Does that say we're already at 11,000 feet? We want to be at 9,000 feet actually. We're supposed to be at 9,000 feet. So we're heading out to sea, and then we're going to cruise down the coast towards Miami. There is Palm Beach Airport just over there. So we're sort of doing a loop around to connect up with our flight plan. So our flight plan over there. I like this, just being able to flick this coolie hat button and you end up going in close to this MFD display, so you don't have to be continuously sort of zooming in and out with the mouse. I'm liking that. Some beautiful scenery here.
Once you reach a comfortable cruising altitude, ladies and gentlemen, the flight attendants will be in the cabin to offer you a cocktail beverage of your choice, along with breakfast. There are 5 flight attendants on board today, primarily for your safety. If there's anything we can do to make your trip more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you, Wendy. One of my flight attendants has just bought me a beautiful cup of tea. My favorite tea, Earl Grey. Very nice tea. Thank you very much. Okay, so we must be at 9,000 feet now. Yep, 9,000 feet. We'll give it a few more minutes and then we'll head up to 10,000 feet. I think we've only got a very short hop today, so I don't think we need to go up very high for very long. Otherwise, yeah, see, it's a sort of a loop around, really. It's just like sort of one big loop. So I think about 10,000 feet will be our ceiling today.
Well, good day, ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck. We're level at our cruise altitude, so I'm going to turn off the seatbelt sign at this time. So you're free to move about as necessary. However, when seated, we would like you to keep your seatbelts comfortably fastened for your safety. We just checked the weather and expect smooth sailing for most of the flight. So for the most part, we're going to stay quiet and let you enjoy the entertainment and service, and we'll be talking with you later on the flight.
Yes, everyone is low on staff and pilots at the moment, so I'm flying for this airline at the moment, EasyJet, filling in for one of their pilots. Probably on the next service we'll be back to Jet and Airways, our Delta Alliance, and we'll do some more flights there. But it's just a quick flight today because I wanted to test out this new flight yoke system and the throttle quadrant, get the hang of it and actually do a flight from A to B, just to see how I go. Right, auto throttle is on, the autopilot's on, so I've got to remember to bring the throttle back down to neutral. Otherwise, when I turn the autopilot off, the plane will just take off towards the moon. Going to have a nice slow turn to the right now. Still haven't heard anything about the PMDG 737 yet. Every so often they'll release some photos or a little video, but still no news on a release date. But that's fine, I'm enjoying this 737 anyway, quite happily flying the MAX for now. It is a beautiful little plane now. Now, if you remember the video I did just a couple of videos ago about the update of this plane, if you go back and have a look at the comments in that video, there's a guy there that listed out all the differences, all the things that they did in the update and the improvements they made. So have a look for his comment. His name is Spinning Mushroom, and so go back to my update, March 2022, that video, and you'll see his comment if you scroll down, and you'll get a list of all the things that they updated. Also mentioned on the throttle quadrant here, you can see that little button. I think that's a little toga button there on the throttle quadrant there. So they've put that in. A few other subtle little things that they've done as well. So go back to that video, the update on the 737 video, and you scroll down through the comments and look for Spinning Mushroom, his comments. And got to say thank you to Spinning Mushroom as well for taking the time to put all those things on there for us. So thank you, dude. That was great. Beautiful day, just a few light clouds around. Just beautiful as we head down the coast to Miami International.
From the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We're gonna be landing in, about 20 minutes, so I'd appreciate it if you would return to your seats and fasten your seat belts at this time. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our approach, we ask that you please check. Make sure that your seatbelts are securely fastened, low and tight across your lap. Please return your seat backs and tray tables to their full upright lock position. If you've had occasion to use your carry-on items, please make sure that they are safely stored underneath the seat in front of you or in the overhead exposed bin. Also, if you're using any type of electronic device, if you would please turn it off until we are parked at the gate.
Okay, so we are on our descent now. We're coming down to 10,000 feet initially on a nice, slow, gentle descent, and then we'll be slowly turning around to the right to be on our finals. I could probably start bringing our speed down a little bit. Can I come down to 190 for now? Now don't worry about procedures and all those kind of things with me, guys. I'm a casual flyer, just here for fun. So 100% I don't do everything correctly, okay? And I forget a lot of things as well. Yeah, well, I am an old bugger, so you know. I drive for miles sometimes. I fly from San Diego to Los Angeles sometimes with my right indicator going. I just forget to turn it off. You know, but that's what old buggers do, eh? So don't worry too much, guys. It's just fun for me. I just enjoy the planes and enjoy the scenery. Having said that, I do try to improve. My skills. That is part of the fun. Trying to get a nice landing is all part of the fun. It rarely happens, but I do enjoy trying hard. I'm just flicking this lever now to bring my flaps down one notch at a time. My middle lever, the blue one. Now this will be the first time, like I said, going from A to B. The first time I'm going to try and do a good landing with this throttle quadrant. So I've got no idea how I'm going to go, guys, to be honest. So if it's an aborted landing or a disaster of a landing, just forgive me, okay? Don't worry. We'll get it right. We'll get it better next time. Because I have a feeling, now that I've changed from the joystick to the throttle, it's a whole new learning curve. I think I've got it feels different, and with the throttle quadrant and everything, there's a few there's a few lessons to learn. There's a bit of practice required, I think, to get the skill just right again for a nice smooth landing. So at the moment we're coming down, our speed is down, we're at 5,000. I want to come down a bit lower than that. I want to be on 3,000 feet for our finals. So let's bring our altitude down. So we've got one more turn to make to the right, and then we'll be on finals. And I want to be at 3,000 feet when I get to that stage. So I might bring my speed down a little bit more as well now. Let's come down to 160 for a start, 159. Might just put my speed brakes on. Bleed a little bit of speed. And then we have Miami over there, the big smoke, the big city of Miami. That'll do with the speed brakes. Just a tweak, just a little tweak. Get me down there. Coming down now to 3,000. That is good. Might just bring some more flaps down. Don't quite need full flaps yet. I keep bringing up that V screen, but actually I don't really need to, because I can actually see my flight plan down here on the MDF. So I should get out of the habit of having to bring up that hitting V and bringing up the map. I don't really need to. Right, I think I'm going to lower the gear. Gear down. And once we turn to the right here, we will be on our finals.
Flight attendants, prepare for landing, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we request that you store your electronic devices until we are safely parked at the gate. We also ask that you extinguish all smoking materials. In final preparation for landing, please make sure your seat backs are straight up, your tray tables are stowed, and any carry-on luggage you may have brought on board with you is underneath the seat in front of you or in an overhead bin. The flight attendants will be passing through the cabin one last time to do their final compliance check and pick up any remaining cups and glasses.
Okay, so our ILS beacon has activated our little diamond there, so I'm going to hit approach hold mode, and hopefully everything will be working and we can do a nice ILS approach and landing. We're pretty much configured for landing. We're now at 140 knots. I can bring that down a little bit more to 130. I might even come down lower today. Might even come down to 120 or 125 for landing. Just see how we go. Just waiting for that second diamond to activate there. Here we go. Look at that scenery. Isn't that beautiful? That is just jaw-dropping, isn't it? That is jaw-dropping. That beautiful coastline, the central city there of Miami, and Miami International Airport in the distance. I think I need to take a photo of that because that is beautiful. Okay, so we're at 130 knots now, and our second magenta diamond has activated, so that is all good. Check that my throttle is on idle for when I switch off the autopilot. Turn on my landing lights. Okay, let's see how we go with this new throttle quadrant, guys. No promises here. It could be pretty dodgy, okay? If I have an aborted landing, if it's a disaster, don't worry. We'll get it right on the next video, okay? I can only get better. Wow, look at that. That is incredible. That is just unbelievable. Miami Beach, there's the beach over there. That is incredible. Just beautiful. Right, I think I'm going to stay in the cockpit. Sometimes I go outside the cockpit when I'm landing, and it's not a good idea. Things get very, very exciting, and you have to make adjustments, and you can't do it from outside the aeroplane very accurately. So I'm staying right here today. I'm staying buckled into my chair. I'm not getting out, and I'm going to see how we go with this new throttle quadrant. Once I turn off the auto throttle, all the action will begin. Auto throttle, I'll turn off the autopilot, and we will see how we go. Fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. This is exciting stuff. Oh yeah. Look at that city centre there, the CBD. Isn't that gorgeous? Just beautiful. There's the runway there, right ahead. So far, so good. Let's have one last look outside the cockpit here at the plane. This lovely 737 coming into land. Beautiful. Beautiful day here at Miami. If you live in this area, let me know what it's like. If you live in Miami or the surrounding district, let me know in the comments, what's it like to live in Miami? What's the main big attraction to tourists and to people coming to Miami? Is it the beach? Is it the surfing?
1,000.
Here we go. Let's get ready. Turn off the auto throttle and the autopilot. Right, I'm doing it now. Autopilot is disengaged. So we are bringing her in manually. Now, things are very, very interesting here with this yoke. I don't think I've got it right at all. I don't think I've got it right at all.
100. 50.
Seems to want to float. Really wants to float, guys.
40. 30.
Can I get it down?
20. 10.
No, I'm still floating. I thought I was down, but the plane was floating. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. This is weird. For a start, when I went to engage the reverse thrust, it didn't really engage, I don't think. And then when I tried to land, the plane just kept floating down the runway. I thought it was down, but it wasn't. Oh my gosh. So that was a bit of a disaster, guys, I'm afraid. Bit of a disaster. I thought I'd engaged the reverse thrust, but it wasn't. And then this throttle takes this flight yoke takes a lot of getting used to, getting the plane down on the ground and keeping it there. Man, it just took off again and wanted to float and float and float. Well, that was a disaster, guys. Sorry about that. I didn't have a good... Oh, and here we are parked amongst the trees. Now, a big-time YouTuber would have deleted this and edited it out, okay, so you don't see them make mistakes. But today, you saw me. I have uncut. It is uncut. And you saw me do an absolutely terrible, terrible landing. So like I said, there's a lot to learn, a lot to practice, and a lot to get used to this new system. So a lot of mistakes made today, but that is part of the fun. That is part of the fun of simulation, learning, and trying to improve and get better. So I'm going to do another few more short trips in the 737 and do some more practice. And then hopefully next time when I come back to you with a new video, we'll get a nice butter landing. But that was a bit embarrassing today, guys. I'm afraid, a very bad landing. But anyway, any helpful suggestions or tips in the comments are always welcome. Constructive criticism is always very welcome. But I am loving the feel of this. It feels good. It's good to have these levers. It's easy to control. I just need more practice getting used to how to operate it all. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe, guys. I'll talk to you soon on the next video. Take care, everyone. Ciao.